Hello everybody and welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name is Suj.
And my name is James.
And I don't think I had any suggestions, James, for what we should change our intro to. Or if we did, I missed them on Twitter. So we're still waiting. We're still revolving around Fantasy Premier League. And I'll be honest with you, with the Champ Man stuff, it actually kept things ticking along. So, but now it's still revolving a little bit around that. It's another Monday, and we are going again.
Yeah, we just nothing major on the agenda today. We're just going to kind of talk latest on football, where we're at. We've got an announcement we want to share as well. Then we're going to do your Twitch
sure.
And then we're going to do all the Champman FPL stuff at the end. So for the benefit of those who are obviously not playing and not interested, we decided it was probably better just to put it on at the end. And then if people want to switch off, they can. Obviously, if you only come for that, you can probably skip forward about half hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's quite a bit of good content on Champman now as well. I had a good listen to the stream yesterday. I got 3/4 of the way through. I need to finish the last quarter of an hour in terms of injuries and what have you to get myself up to date, because we'll talk about it later, but I'm taking on the scout, so I need to make sure that I represent with a Z.
Yeah, there's loads of, we'll talk about it more, but there's loads of good content coming out. There's this guy doing these streams twice a week. I don't know if you've seen any of them, Suj. They're quite good, apparently.
They're getting better and better. Each time I look at them, they're getting better and better. Now, you've got to be careful with that, James, because once something starts getting good, it just descends into chaos. We'll talk about it soon enough. But where should we start, James? Do you want to talk about the state of football?
Yeah, we can do. I've already told Suj what the title of this podcast is going to be called. It's going to be Contain Your Impatience, as so said our Prime Minister said this morning. It appears we might be heading towards a positive resolution towards the return of Premier League football. We knew the earliest date for a restart was June the 8th. And if you read most of the media outlets this morning, it appears that many believe that is becoming a realistic date. I still have huge reservations with that personally, but it's beginning to look like it might happen. The problem is when you look around the world globally, for everyone you think they're doing it, they're not. So for every Poland are restarting on May 29th. I know it's not one of the elite leagues, but it's not a million miles away, right? They're restarting
they're still getting thousands.
May 29th. They're going to be the first. It's happening. Unless something goes wrong there in the next couple of weeks. Then you go to Holland, which is a little closer to home, and they're banned from sport till September. Huge differences. Yep. Next door, you've got Germany, and Germany are like, looks like we're going back to training next week. So I spoke to a few people off camera about it, probably yourself, Suj, as well, saying like, if we decide to go for it, people are going to go down the route of saying on social media, how can you go back when people are dying, etc., etc. And if we don't restart football, people are going to go, well, they're doing it, why don't we do it? So whatever decision is made, it's no win. I still have huge concerns that I think my biggest concern is we start again and we stop again. That's the huge one for me. And I don't really foresee a scenario where that won't happen. I can't see it going smoothly for 4 or 5 weeks.
With the number of games left, it's one of those, if we start again and play 3 or 4 games and that leaves only 4 or 5 games left, depending on the clubs, it makes it even harder when there's so little of the season left. So if we start and stop, then I don't think we'll restart again, and I think they'll scrap the season. The difference in Holland, and I don't know the significance of this, but it's worth pointing out, is the ban on professional sport came from the government, not from the football authorities.
That's right.
So at the moment, the decisions around football, the lockdown is the lockdown. That's a government decision. But if they lift lockdown, then the decision on reintroducing football comes from the Football Association, and the Premier League, not from the government. Whereas if the government make the decision, then it's a completely different kettle of fish. So, and then in Holland, it was the government that made that decision, and it wasn't just football; it was all sport. So, still very, very tricky at the moment as to what's going on.
If you take that Holland scenario, and I think we can relate it a little bit to here, one of the things that's been said about Holland is it was easier to cancel the season in the sense that Ajax and Alkmaar, the two top teams, were level on points. There wasn't a clear leader like we've got with Liverpool. There was unlikely to be people who were going to be suing and stuff like that. Think again. So what they've had to do in void the season is notify UEFA of who they intend to put into their European positions. So they've nominated Ajax, who were top ahead of Alkmaar on goal difference, to go straight into the Champions League, I think, and Utrecht go into the third qualifying. Alkmaar go into the third qualifying stage, and then so on down to the UEFA Europa League places. But there's one team who are already going to try and fight this, which is FC Utrecht, who are 3 points behind a Europa League place with a game in hand and better goal difference.
Ooh.
And so this is part why I still would have always maintained that finishing this Premier League season will be the be-all and end-all, rather than there's no consequences on next season if it doesn't start, right? No matter what decision is made on the current Premier League season, whether it's voided, average points, title, no relegation, even say then European places, who do you decide in terms of, we've heard all this talk about sporting merit, haven't we? In terms of deciding who gets into European places. But is that clarified and correct? I've not even looked into, I don't even know where Spurs are in the league. I'm really honest with you. I don't have
it's
ninth.
You'll end up with the likes of Arsenal getting into the Champions League, because how far back do you go historically? And
there was a rumor sort of 10 days ago that it might be that UEFA just picks the teams based on coefficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Then have actually meant that Arsenal
would go in.
Remarkably, would go in. Yeah. But they've said they're not going to do that, or at least that's what they've instigated they're not going to do. So sporting merit, I think what they've meant to say is that, basically pick your current top four or find a route, whether it's a playoff tournament or something like that. We've heard this mentioned in Leagues 1 and League 2, where there's this idea floating about of the top 8 teams having the playoffs to decide who gets promoted. It seems like an absolute nonsense to me. So what happens if the 7th and 8th in the league at the end up being the 2 teams that gets promoted? That's a nonsense. So, I don't think we can do that kind of thing either. I think, how close are Man United to Chelsea? But what I'm saying is, say they put Chelsea in, who's the most powerful football club in this country? Is United. So they're going to, we were on form, we were going to catch them, etc. So it's a
nightmare.
There's no way out of it unless this football season finishes. And I'm convinced it will, no matter when it will be. I'm less convinced than others that it will be in June.
There was a very interesting video I watched about South Korea the other day. And this is not really, it's relevant but not relevant to football. But their sport is still carrying as normal. I think baseball is one of the biggest games there. Baseball matches are happening as normal. Crowds are going in as normal. And there's a couple of real reasons why they've been able to do it. And it comes down to, there's 2 or 3 big factors. One was they had the massive advantage that half the population of the country lives in Seoul, as opposed to spread out everywhere else. So you know where half the population is. But they being that they can be a little bit more dictatorial, for want of a better word, when the outbreak happened, the government straight away had access to everybody's mobile phones and mobile phone messages, which meant that they could trace and track every single person in the country straight away. And it was a no ifs, no buts, like tough, this is happening. And that way, when there was an outbreak of XYZ people, they knew exactly where that person had been and where everybody else had been. They quarantined everybody, and that was it. Dead, done and dusted. Would you be happy with the government having access to your mobile phone and all your messages?
Just leave the fucking phone at home, wouldn't
you? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But the point was that if we do this, we can trace everybody, lock it down faster, and then come out the other side. So
would I have a problem with it? No, but then I've got nothing to hide. Yeah. They might find they get a few naughty pop-ups they shouldn't get, but otherwise I've got nothing to hide. So
exactly,
it wouldn't bother me. But it's invasion of, all that bollocks people say.
Yeah, we've got people in America protesting against it and stuff. But it was just fascinating about how different countries have managed the situation in different ways and been able to do things. So, yeah, we're still rumbling on, James, for now.
Yeah, I just don't see a positive resolution where it's going to be safe for the players. Crowds, we got to forget. I hate the idea of football behind closed doors anyway. I think that's another podcast for later. But for players, I don't see where we make it safe for them. One of the things I've heard this morning is like St George's Park possibly as a base for all the games, right?
Yep.
And locking players down away from their families for 6 weeks or so. Okay, fine, great. So what about when you start the next season? Then what?
Because coronavirus is not going away anywhere.
Well, exactly. So then what?
And the flu season is not the summer. Flu season is autumn, winter especially. So there is a lot of talk around medics that once we get to September, October, and it starts getting colder again, whilst we see a dip, it might come back. But who knows, James? We'll go round and round in circles, and I think it's been done to death. But as it stands right now, as it said, we're no closer to knowing what's going on. But I agree with you that we are a little bit closer to knowing that around June, possibly football will start again. And it will start again.
There's a meeting Friday. I think there's an EFL meeting today and there's a Premier League meeting on Friday. And I think we're going to know more following then. We're obviously going to have government updates between now and Friday. Obviously, if the Premier League does decide, kind of what you already said, if the Premier League does decide, okay, yeah, June 8th, for example, it still needs the government to give it the thumbs up. And the government could also pull that at any time. They could say, okay, yeah, lift lockdown, and then we have another spike, and in 2 weeks ago, sorry, pulling that again.
Yeah.
So a lot of hurdles still to clear for me. So I'm not going to get myself in the positive mindset that football's coming back. And I find it difficult to anyway, A, because of what's going on around the country and the world, and B, as I said a little bit, like the idea of football behind closed doors is so shit. I don't find myself being able to really motivate myself for that. And perhaps I'm a little bit influenced by Tottenham's individual circumstance in the fact I don't think the rest of this season particularly matters much. Although I do want to see my team play football, but I don't really want to watch football behind closed doors. Say they're going to put, because there's speculation there, all the games will be available on TV in one way or another podcast will come, I think.
Yeah.
But let's say they do. You're going to sit there and watch all of it behind closed doors? I don't think I could.
I remember watching a couple of the the highlights more than the whole games. The Manchester United game behind closed doors. It's weird. It just feels like you're watching training more than you're watching a competitive game.
I'm not sure how interested I would be. I would obviously watch Spurs. I'd watch Spurs if they're playing Enfield Town reserves. Yeah. But I'm not sure how much interest that I would have. Like when all the games were on Amazon and that, and say Boxing Day and New Year's Day and all that, when there was multiple games you can watch, sit me in front of them. It wouldn't matter if it was like Palace against Southampton. Fine, I'm going to watch it. Behind closed doors, am I tuning in for that?
Probably not.
I can't see it, mate. Can't see me having the interest to, even like Liverpool games when the title's won. That's no interest. No. I don't know. I've got concerns for a number of reasons. I can't say that I feel particularly positive about it all. James Drury asked me on my stream Friday. He said, actually, it was Steve-O from Elite asked me. But James Drury said he was upset because I said that I don't miss FPL at all.
Yeah.
Just don't. I'm actually not in a cycle at the moment, I think, because of what we're doing. I'm not in a cycle, possibly again influenced by Spurs. I don't actually feel like I miss football that much at the moment.
Interesting.
Which is weird. I don't know. Maybe it's personal circumstance because I've got the little one running around and stuff like that, and I'm here with him all day. My circumstance is probably very different to someone who's
everybody's
stuck indoors, etc.
Yeah. I feel in a very different situation. Like I've been working through pretty much non-stop trying to keep the business going, and I mean we were at 24, 25 people, and there's maybe 5 or 6 picking up all the pieces, and there's enough work for 5 or 6 people, but that's kept me busy enough that I don't miss football or FPL either. But if business was usual, like running as normal, I definitely would want it back. But right now, I don't particularly miss it. It's like people say, oh, don't you want to jump on the streams with James for the Champ Man and stuff? And I'm like, to be honest, it's long. It's like 3 hours, right? It's not a small amount of time. If I wasn't working Monday to Friday, 9 till 6, 8 till 6, whatever, yeah, I'd love to. that's another 6 hours on top of the normal work. So I don't miss that necessarily either. It's interesting to think about, but when it comes back, it's going to come back with a bang, and we're going to do some interesting things, which is a segue into something that we are going to do interesting. Always pushing the boundaries, James.
Uh-oh.
Always pushing the boundaries. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't your idea. Well, I don't know. Whose idea was it, James?
Okay, so obviously I've been doing these streams. And
yes.
Essentially, for those who've been tuning in, we'll talk about it more in 20 minutes or so. It's basically me talking to myself for 2.5 hours, which is quite a challenge, but you talk to people in the chat and you forget about it. Our dear friend Stephen Wyatt from beernuts.co.uk, buy one of their care packages, by the way. No, they're not paying for sponsorship. I'm just plugging them in, mate. I have bought some off them as well. Very good stuff.
I'm ordering some this week, actually.
Get it done. You won't spend as much as I did, I promise you. But he said, I reckon you could do it for 24 hours. And I was like, don't push me.
Yeah. When I saw that
and then a few people were like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah.
When I saw that tweet,
we can do it for charity.
Okay, because I saw DJ EZ had done it, and there's plenty of people that have done live streams for charity and concerts for charity and whatever. A 24-hour live stream. I mean, to be honest with you, in the history of Planet FPL, we've probably produced over 600 or 700 hours of content. What's another 24, mate? What's another 24? So a couple of conversations on WhatsApp here and there, a little bit of digging around online. And yes, we have decided that we are going to do a Planet FPL 24-hour live stream at the end of May. 23rd of May, which is the second bank holiday weekend in May.
It also would have been FA Cup final day, which if we'd have been in a better world, we almost certainly would have done a live show for on that.
Correct.
We're obviously not going to be doing any live shows anytime soon. So we're bringing the live show in your house, mate.
Indeed we are. The plan at the moment is to start at 6 a.m. on the Saturday and go all the way through to 6 a.m. on the Sunday, all through the night. We're going to have plenty of stuff planned throughout the live stream as well. Obviously, it's Saturday, so there'll be Champ Man in the afternoon. So yes, I'll grow. I'm not going to get a Chris Kamara moustache. I'm going to grow a Chris Kamara moustache before then.
Okay.
We'll do a little quiz. We'll get some guests on. We'll do a bit of Q&A. We've got plenty of stuff that we're going to plan for that 24 hours.
I can. Go on.
I was going to say, and the main thing is it's a fundraiser for the NHS and what have you. It's incredible. The lengths a lot of people have gone to help. And look, if you can donate, great. A lot of people are donating and doing what they can anyway. This is no obligation, nothing. It's not behind a paywall. Just jump on, have a bit of fun. I would love it if anybody joins us for the full 24 hours. That would be some impressive stuff. But yes, indeed, you were saying, James.
I'm going to tell you that it's not possible to watch us for 24 hours straight.
Yes, it is.
If anybody does that, they need to see a doctor, mate.
Well, we're funding those doctors with a bit of charitable donations, so it's a full circle.
You can watch us for 24 hours and pay us to go and see the doctor we're paying.
Yeah. Keep an eye on social media. It's still about 4 weeks away before it's going to be happening. But we know what some of you lot are like. You need to get your permission slips into to different various boys and girls, her indoors, him indoors. So get your permission slips in early, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. 23rd of May.
Is it something, Suj, that will be available on repeat? I presume it will.
Oh, of course. Yeah. We'll be working on all sorts to get it downloaded. We'll slice it up into mini segments. Different people will be interested in different stuff. But yes, for sure.
I can say on my side, the planning has begun.
Yeah.
I've been in touch with all the correspondents. A number of them are already happy to come on and have half hour or 45-minute slots, but we talk about their club, like kind of a mini clash of the correspondents. As Suj said, we'll do quiz, we'll do Tottenham, we'll do nostalgic stuff, we'll do a podcast, we'll do Q&A. The Champman FPL stream will be the centre of it in the middle of the day. It's going to be planned to the hour, all of it.
Here we'll be drunk, but not too much. We've got to keep our fluids up and stuff, James.
I'm not worried about getting drunk. I'm worried about being drunk at 4 o'clock in the morning and staying awake.
We will figure it out, James. We will figure it out. So, guys, get your permission slips in and make sure that you're ready to join us for the Planet FPL 24-hour live stream, because it is coming. It is coming, and we'll drip feed you information as and when we get it sorted in the coming weeks. I'm so excited. I love extreme stuff, James. If ever I do anything in my life, I always want to do it to the most extreme that it can be done. If I'm running, let's run a marathon.
The problem is, I knew the second that you heard about this idea, it was going to happen. It was the first time we'd been challenged on something, and I didn't instantly just go, yeah, we're going to do it. Like you and I normally, we go, should we do a podcast every day? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, record now. That's kind of how we work. This one, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know about that, man. That's a proper challenge.
It is a challenge. I'm going to be sleeping the whole Friday to get myself psyched up and ready. So
I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
I think
the right thing to do is just go to bed at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to get a cab into the studio. You're going to sit in your office. I'm going to sit in the studio, unless we can sit next to each other, which I doubt.
We'll figure out 2 meters distance and get the screen going. I'm going to rejig things so we've got a screen up and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Listen, open to suggestions as well. If you have any ideas, do stick them in a tweet and tag us in. Because you never know, some of you guys might come up with, judging by the Eric Backer puns on Sunday, Saturday, you're not going to come up with good stuff. But if you do, give us some ideas, because we'll definitely be open to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll make it a festival of FPL football fun in that 24 hours.
Yes, we will. Indeed. We absolutely will. Let's
do
some Twitter cues.
Twitter cues. And that leads nicely, James, onto FPL Chancer Dan. In which of the 24 hours will you open your first Brewdog?
See, the thing is, obviously, on the Saturdays, and it's going to be a Saturday, just to clarify, the 23rd of May, I'll normally open my first can at 2:30 when I launch the stream on the Saturday. So that's probably the time. Mm-hmm. What I then do for the remaining, how many, 17 hours left, is that?
Probably.
I mean,
a bit less, but yeah.
Yeah, 15 hours. I think I need to have a strong think about, don't I?
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say I'm not touching that Brewdog. 5.2%. Forget about it, mate. If I'm drinking, and I'm happy to start drinking around then as well. No problem at all. Just give me that watered down Foster's to start with, and then we'll ramp it up as we're going. But yeah, come on, man. 15 hours of lager, I'm going simple and easy. Foster's it is, mate.
I don't know about the Brewdogs either. Honestly, I sometimes I finish the stream and the guys will know anyway. I'm a bit like, ooh,
they do get you.
I'm in trouble.
These craft beers. We've got Brad J FPL_mindset asking a question here. How do you think the Premier League would be broadcasted if people aren't allowed into stadiums until next year? All games televised or only a select fixtures? And an increase or decrease in the price of subscriptions for Sky or BT, maybe?
I think you might find that you get different scenarios for the conclusion of this season and then the next season. One of the issues with obviously the current season is, for example, Tottenham Hotspur got like 300 quid of my money for 5 games worth, and I don't know what's happening to it. So there's no way, at a minimum, they can't not let me watch them games. Can't take my money for a game I can't attend.
Of course,
and not let me watch the game as well. There's no way that can happen. So obviously nobody's money in terms of tickets is invested into next season. So next season might be different. I would imagine under this circumstance that in some way every one of the 92 games that's left this season will be accessible in some way, be it even if it's via a red button on particular channel or something. All of it should be accessible.
Yeah, especially if it's behind a paywall. See, the thing is, you've got Sky TV where you're paying a monthly subscription, right? Whatever it is, 20, 30 quid a month or whatever. Now TV, I bought a season pass at the start of the season. So they were selling for 200 quid, one-off payment, all the football for the whole season, all the Premier League channels and what have you. So it's a one-off, and it was due to end at the end of May, which is when the football would have ended, or when the season ended. That was it. I didn't have access. They've emailed me, and they're just keeping it rolling.
Yeah, I was going to say
when the season finishes.
Yeah,
which means I'm getting all the Premier League years and all of that stuff is still rolling. I'm not watching a lot of it, to be honest with you, if any, but it's still just going to keep rolling until the season's done.
Yeah, my Sky subscription is frozen. So, I mean, I've still got the channels at the moment, but it's frozen.
Oh, they're not charging you?
No.
Oh, fantastic.
No. Well, you have to get in touch with them and say, I ain't paying it, basically. But then, yeah, you can freeze it. We managed to get when I got the updated broadband, basically I'm paying less money now than I was before I got the new broadband. Yeah, it stitched them up a bit. I let the wife go in and tell them what was happening. I let her do the negotiating, Suj. As Suj knows, I can be a bit of a salesman, but I let her go, mate. What do you want, love?
Oh dear, we got another. Does Brad FPL Mindset jump on the Champ Man streams with you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. All right, so
if they're Champ Man questions, hold them back.
Nah, it's not. It's worse, James.
Oh, okay.
Not football related, but I'm curious to know what Suj is like as a boss, and does he give James special treatment? So basically, you can answer when I'm not listening and I'm not there, which will be on the stream. So Wednesday, 9 p.m. or whenever, just before the games are finished, I won't be on the stream.
More the issue would be if, in the unlikely event that any of other Suj's employees are listening, would probably be big of a book. Of course, I get special treatment. I'm the fucking golden boy.
Oh dear. Rob Pick wants to know who's in my mind for the Scout versus Community Champ Man.
Save it for the Champ Man.
Regardless, I can't answer it because I haven't even.
Well, I'm going to help you with it in about 10 minutes.
Perfect. All I need to know is the fixtures. Josh Fosh at Josh Fosh _FPL. How are you, Josh? How do you guys take care of yourselves physically during quarantine? Are you eating healthier? Do you exercise?
Yeah, lots of trips to the kitchen and back, loads of that. No, not so much. But then, like, what is he? 17 months old, the boy. It's enough energy. Have I been out running or anything? No, it's not something I particularly would have been doing anyway. Obviously, I'm not playing football Thursday nights anymore, but I'm definitely eating better, I would say.
I'm in agreement, James. But we go out for a walk 5 days out of 7. I'll go out for a walk and we'll do a good solid 2 or 3 miles, which is decent. And then I'll train at home. Like, I think this online training, you've got all these online classes and stuff that you can just follow for half an hour. Like, my missus does half an hour, 45 minutes every day just because she can while she's at home and it's easy. And I don't think she'll change from that now. I think it's just become part of her routine. In terms of eating healthy, I'm hungry as hell during this lockdown. I don't know whether or not at work we just snack and graze a little bit more, but I don't at home as much. And we're not eating takeaways at all. Can't be bothered with that.
If it's not there, you can't eat it, right?
Exactly.
That's one of the things we've tried to do is, okay, what do we need food? I don't know, get ourselves a treat in for a Friday night or something. Yeah. We've been having a takeaway like on a Saturday night after the streams because I've had a couple of them. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, get a pizza, love. Yeah. But otherwise, we've been like making sure we haven't got too much food. So we'll do a big shop like on a Sunday, but then one of us will probably have to go out again on a Thursday just to make sure we're okay for the next 2 days or so. Yeah. So
it's been quite all right. And I tell you what, like my mum and dad live a mile away. My mum's home cooking all the time, right? And she's bored out of her mind. Honest to God, she's bored out of her mind. And one of her biggest passions is just looking after the kids, like my grandkids. So literally every day we'll get a phone call, which is, let me cook for the kids, let me send you some food. She's doing nothing else. So I'm getting home cooked mum's food every couple of days as well, which I'm like, what am I going to do with the food that I've got in my own fridge, let alone anything else?
I miss mum's cooking.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not so close. There we go. And FPL Canada, will FPL suffer its first decline in membership when the new season starts?
I think that's a great question, and I think the answer is yes. You think no? I could see there.
I tell you what's going to be interesting. I think the number of players will be lower than it is at the end of this season or the start of last season, or even halfway through the season. But I think because a lot of people who put in multiple teams won't bother with that. So all of this, like gaming the system, and trying to get a team to win that team of the week and stuff, which I reckon there's a lot, right, of bots and all that kind of stuff, as we call them. I reckon all of that will be wiped out. And so it might look like there's less players, but the number of active players, I think, will be pretty similar. People will have missed it.
I think it will depend a lot in terms of the turnaround between the two seasons as well. So if there's only, say, 2 or 3 weeks between finishing this one and starting the next one, it's not a lot of time in terms of pushing the game, in terms of even pushing the new season. We'll have like new fixtures out, and then it'll be like, right, you're playing them next week. That's how it will be. So I just don't think there'll be enough time to re-engage people. I think the fact that the football is likely, even in a new season, to be behind closed doors will have a knock-on effect in terms of people's enjoyment of the product. And that's a major negative for the Premier League particularly, because there are games you can watch around Europe where you're used to that dead atmosphere, etc. One of the best things about the product of the Premier League, you cannot understate the importance of the crowd.
Yeah, the atmosphere, yeah.
Huge
Massive.
in terms of the atmosphere at our games. And I know a lot of them, even Tottenham, a lot of the big clubs have had redevelopments and that, and even some smaller clubs, not the atmospheres that they used to be, but trust me, it's still better than the majority of other places. Another one will badly affect, Germany will be really badly affected because the atmospheres out there are really good. The top clubs in Holland, they'll suffer. Whereas I think there's certain other leagues like France, Italy, San Siro's half empty for most games, then it's just not going to have the impact on their leagues that it would on ours because the crowd is so involved. I think once eventually we get crowds back, players will realise how much they miss the crowd and will enjoy abuse. The first time someone gets abuse again at a football match, I bet they piss themselves laughing. And inside they're thinking, fuck, I missed that. Yeah,
and it will be funny to see. Next question, James, coming in from Amber Redmond. What did you get detention for at school?
Oh, I saw this and didn't give it any thought at all. Wasn't a lot. I was goody two-shoes, actually.
Me too as well, James.
It really was.
Me too.
Really was till I turned to about 15 and I become a bit of a rebel, but everybody else became a rebel when they was about 12. So I was a long way behind everybody else. It would have been stupid things like being in science class and trying to write down like best team from the 98 World Cup and stuff like that. Like not concentrating or talking or whatever. It wasn't anything particularly bad that I can remember. I would genuinely say if there was, no, I was a bit of a goody boy actually.
I was similar until 16 A levels and stuff like that. Then we used to piss about a bit more, but we never used to do anything naughty. It was more a case of like stupid stuff like flicking a rubber band at someone or something dumb like that, but catching the teacher when they were pissed off. So the reaction, like something you could have done 5 times and 4 times out of it, you wouldn't have got detention. If you caught the teacher when they were a bit pissed off, you'd get that.
Oh, I'd tell you what, once I got into sixth form, there was a few things that would have got me a few detentions. I can 100% tell you that, but I didn't get caught.
That's the key to success. Don't get caught. Further, Halvorsen, if you were in charge of the Premier League, how would you finish the season? Thanks for all the good pods. Take care and be safe.
I would finish this league season next March.
Well, wait a whole year.
Yeah.
If it took it. So basically you're saying wait till we can get everybody back in the stadiums and football to be safe and sound and then start again.
Yeah.
I would
not going to happen, but that's what I would do.
I would like to see the season finished. If the season can't be finished, and I don't think I'm up for waiting until September or what have you, not as late as March, but August or September to give enough time to finish next season, then I would rather it was voided. What I wouldn't want to do is say call it now. Whoever's in the bottom 3 goes and whoever's top gets the title. I would rather it was just voided and we walk away from it.
By the way, in terms of behind closed doors, it obviously fixes a lot of problems from a Premier League standpoint in terms of getting the TV money, there being no lawsuits against final league positions, anything like that. There's a conclusion. It does not fix the problem from the Championship down in terms of the lack of money feeding into these clubs. And there is no way of fixing that without... I mean, I guess the only thing that they could get is advertisements, sponsorship, that kind of thing. But the biggie of the gate receipts, they're obviously not going to get. So still going to be plenty of hard times ahead.
There will be. We've got FPL Ronnie, who says, you guys are doing an amazing job. Have you ever done a list of what you think are the 20 biggest, in inverted commas, clubs in English football, with biggest defined however you decide? It'll be interesting to see how many of yours overlap with each other. People's poll question, isn't it really, James?
I think it is. To be honest, we're doing something very similar tomorrow, which has finally made it through the vote after a couple of runners-up finishes, which was nominated by Arsenal correspondent Adam at 352. We're going to be, heaven forbid, the worst thing that could ever possibly happen to football is a European Super League. But we have been tasked with the idea of, should such a thing happen, which 20 teams would get picked. And we're going to do that tomorrow.
James Bradford, do any of you think, I know the answer to this already, you could beat Diogo Jota at a game of FIFA after his tournament win?
No.
So he won the Premier League's tournament, wasn't it, that they were doing with all the different players?
I saw Bradley, our Wolves correspondent, Park_Bradley. He said he cheered when he got the win. It's like, what's my life come to? But Trent was proper gutted, wasn't he?
Yeah. I tell you what, James, in answer to your question, I have never picked up a PS3, PS4, Xbox controller in my life. So does that answer your question? I've never loaded a game of FIFA, to be honest, for at least 10 or 12 years. And even then, I've probably only played it 5 times in my life.
I would have played FIFA or PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, all through the noughties. And then I would have played FIFA probably for a few years, sort of around about between 2015, 2017. And I haven't, since we've been doing the podcast, I haven't picked it up once. So no, I wouldn't have beat Diogo Jota. I also saw there was a tournament with a lot of English players, which was done by the FA's Twitter account and that. We want to see Ryan Sessegnon getting feisty because he was playing Jadon Sancho, and the connection froze and Sancho scored. Sessegnon was losing his shit. He was like, "You can allow it. You can't allow it." Sancho, there's some clips you can look through their Twitter feed. Some of the clips of Jadon Sancho are hilarious because you look at him and you think, wow, you're going to be one of the best players on the planet, aren't you? And I just can't foresee that the way you are. But he seemed like he was really enjoying himself and happy and that. Hey, Todd Cantwell blitzed him in the final. You should see some of Sancho's reactions. He's like, turn it off. He's getting torn apart.
Am I missing anything, James, by not playing FIFA? Nah.
No, you're not. You might be missing the conversation of the fact that obviously esports and computer games generally will be keeping many folks going. I mean, if we were pre-podcast, I would be on it. No kid and pre-podcast, I would have been playing FIFA or Football Manager day and night.
I'm more interested in Football Manager, to be honest with you. I'm more interested in like something that's a bit more strategy and thinking about the game and that than I would be with FIFA for sure. So last question is also from FPL Roddy. Have you been following the goings on at Charlton? Surely the times of £1 takeover deals need to stop. The new owners come in and extract all the remaining cash asset value before letting the club die in administration.
Yeah, Charlton is one I'm following. Derby County is another one I'm following quite closely as well. I think the two of those clubs will go into a people's poll at some point in the next couple of weeks. The Charlton one's really interesting and actually a little bit scary in terms of the fact that they obviously got passed over, as your man said there, for £1 back in January, and he didn't get a lot of media coverage. Obviously, the guy was doing it before. All the fans wanted him out. This Belgian fellow, I forget his name. But, they're in like a crippling financial state. And they're at that, what we spoke about, that level kind of lower end championship, where actually you're in as much danger as like some of these non-league clubs and that. And yeah, I don't know. Charlton is bleak at the moment. If you had to pin me and say, name a club will go, I would maybe say it might be them.
Well, I'm always up for a bit of
historic
London
financial...
club.
Like,
Yeah, I don't mind doing a little bit of financial digging around what has happened at Charlton. So maybe we'll talk about it in next week's pod or stick it into people's poll for sure.
Derby is also
Whenever,
interesting because of like the sponsorship stuff that we reported on before with like 32 Red, all the money for Rooney. Where did that come from? They were being investigated anyway, right? You seen this story about Olympiacos as well that we put in
match fixing.
Yeah, they're going to probably get thrown. Biggest club in Greece going to get thrown out the main league.
There's a lot of dodgy stuff in Greek football. If you remember, there was the guy that owned the docks and stuff. That was who got the coronavirus that came to Arsenal.
The Forest chairman.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah, but very Greek football is very dodgy, and I know from my friends who are Greek who tell me about how corrupt it actually is. It makes us look like goody two-shoes over here in terms of the money, the way money's handled and what have you.
So we think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Everything's allegedly.
Listen, you won't get detention if you don't get caught, right?
Yeah. Newcastle still haven't been bought, mate. Just throwing it out there.
Not yet. I don't know if there's anything more for us to add until we know that it is or it isn't happening. I think once it's confirmed that it is, and I suspect that still be the case, then we'll, at that point, I think we can look at what's right and what's wrong. There were rumours of a potential second bidder last week, which nobody seems to have backed up in any way. There is believed to be lots of opposition from within Premier League clubs trying to stop the deal happening. The reason they're trying to stop the deal happen, I don't think, is not for what might be the more personal reasons in terms of the background of stuff in Saudi Arabia, etc. It's through fear of what Newcastle United may or will become once they have that money. But I think, as I said last week, they are not going to smash through while FFP is there. They are not going to smash through in the way Man City did. Now, they can over a long, sustained period. It is not going to happen that quickly.
No, definitely not. That's it for the Twitter questions, James. That is it for the Twitter questions. Bit of Champ Man.
Yeah, if you're not playing Champ Man FPL and have got no interest in it, we've saved it to the end, so you are now welcome to switch off. Unfortunately, if you want to hear the music at the end, you've got to hang around. But otherwise, thank you very much. Adios. Ciao for now. Pete was polled tomorrow on 20 Super League teams. Wednesday's quiz is on the 2018 World Cup. Thursday's throwback is on Alan Sugar years at Tottenham, including the court case with Terry Venables in 1993 that basically ripped the club in half. And Friday I'll stream again, Champ Man stuff, Wednesday, Saturday. But you're switching off now, so you won't be interested in that. All right, see you later. Ciao for now. Bye. Wash your hands. Stay safe.
Champ Man, James. Champ Man. I got 38 points, bang on the average.
On your wild card.
Yes, which is disappointing, but you don't set your wild card up for 1 week. You set it up for the future. And I feel like now I've got my biggest struggle up until now was always getting 11 players out week in, week out. So now I've got depth. I've got players that most on the whole as starters. I might have one or two ringers in there. But I left myself with 3.5 million in the bank as well. So I already knew I wanted a Spurs asset, and I didn't know whether I wanted Teddy or Selakovic, or maybe even Poyet now. So I left myself that option to go from McFay or Littmanen to either of those two. And I want to see what happens. So 38 points.
So, do you know your squad? Have you got it available to talk about?
Yeah, it's up here.
Let's talk about your squad.
Seaman in goal.
It's fine.
Serrani as a backup.
Yeah, they're cool. Crack on.
Yeah. Laurent Blanc.
Yeah.
Melberg.
Yeah, it's fine.
Ian Hart, Ashley Cole.
Yeah. Ashley
Cole, it might be a bit expensive. He's not getting any attacking returns, is he?
I'm thinking of getting Ashley Cole, so I'm all right with that, mate. Yeah.
And John Onorisa as my other defender as well.
Yeah, the only problem with Risa is a rotation one, but the other four you've got should be pretty solid.
Off, right?
Ian Hart is very unlikely to play in game week 9.
Yeah, 76%
fit. So,
but it's a lot of money.
If you like what else you've got or not.
It's a lot of money in my back line, though. There's 3 of them that are 6.5, 6.5, 6, 5.5. It's a lot of money to put in the back.
It could be a good time to sell Hart because obviously it looks like he's unlikely to play. And I think a lot of people held through because of this Everton home fixture. Everton are extremely poor away from home in terms of scoring goals. They don't score many goals anyway. I think they've scored 8 and conceded 8. One of the lowest scoring sides, both for and against, in the league. I was actually going to captain Ian Hart. Such as my confidence in a potential Leeds clean sheet. I'm obviously not doing that now. I need to make a decision myself whether I'm selling or not. What's in your midfield, Suj?
Harry Kewell.
Yeah.
Nobby Solano.
Yeah.
He had an all right game, but I don't think he did anything spectacular. Jason Wilcox.
Yeah.
Kevin Nolan. And McPhail at Leeds.
So that's where you've hidden the money a bit, really, because you've got 3 cheapies there, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
In fact, 4 if you want to include Solano.
Yeah, McPhail's the one that I think might go up to. I can get an 8.5 midfielder in Slakovic, or there's quite a few options there.
So Kewell's your only one there, more than 6 million, isn't he?
Correct, he is.
Okay, and what you got up front?
Ruud van Nistelrooy, Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
And then I've got Jari Litmanen, who's now injured.
Yes, Jari Litmanen is out for a sustained period of
he needs to
months.
go. Yeah.
He's 5.5, I think, Suj.
Yeah, he is. Cheap.
There's a very obvious replacement for you, which is Dean Sturridge at Leicester City.
Leicester.
Leicester coming in some great fixtures now. West Ham at home. Derby at home. Charlton away. Southampton away. Leeds at home is okay. It's a decent run of fixtures. Certainly the immediate 2 home fixtures of West Ham and Derby are quite nice. Now, he's basically locked in up front for Leicester at the moment, playing every week. I think he's 5'5", Sturridge.
Right.
He's 5'5", 32 points in 8 starts. So it's averaging at 4 points per game, 4 attacking returns, 3 goals, 1 assist. That from Litmanen to Sturridge seems like a complete no-brainer, Suj.
That's probably what I'll be looking at. I'm not worried about moving on from Ian Hart, to be honest with you. It's 1 week. I can ride that out.
No, I don't think that's...
The defence, I've got enough other defenders.
I don't think that's your priority. I think for you, I would consider -4 this week. I'd go Litmanen to Sturridge and consider what you want Leicester midfield-wise as well. My opinion is you have to strongly attack the fixtures in this rather than...
I agree with you.
I know what you're saying about like Salakovic, Sheringham, but that really good spell of run and fixtures has gone.
It's gone.
It will come back, but now they've got Man United at home and Middlesbrough away. Middlesbrough are top at the moment.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, so they're not the 2 fixtures that you want to go into. So it's definitely not Spurs now. Now it's attack Leicester. So whether you've got enough money, I think you probably have, haven't you, to go from, say, Wilcox to Scowcroft?
Yeah.
Scowcroft would be my first choice. He's expensive, 8 million midfielder, but he basically plays as a 10 with license.
And he's been picking up returns regularly.
Yeah, I think he's got 4 attacking returns as well.
But
obviously,
then double.
A lot cheaper.
Do you fancy double Leicester attack?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If you're going to attack it, mate. It's fine. Particularly like Sturridge's value as well. Doesn't matter so much. And Scowcroft actually holds placement really nicely to when you want to come off, actually to go straight back to Spurs when it comes round again. He's the same price as Salakovic. So that suits absolutely fine. You could have the West Ham at home, Derby at home, Chelsea away, Southampton away for Scowcroft. And then you might walk back into a Salakovic double game week if that's what you want to do. So I think in and around that value area is interesting. Muzzy is back in the team. He's $500,000 more expensive than Scowcroft. I definitely prefer Scowcroft to the other 2.
Yeah, I would
Lots
agree
of
with you on
people
that.
talking up Dennis Wise at 6.5. Seems to be on the set pieces. Got 2 assists in the win at Aston Villa in game week 8. And I like McAnuff, $5 million midfielder.
Ex-West Ham, Joby McAnuff.
He played for you?
He played for us, Joby
McAnuff.
McAnuff.
Hell, don't remember that.
Yeah.
And all 4 of the defenders are interesting as well. Matt Elliott is the most locked. He's 5 million. Gets really good average ratings, so likely to be a bonus point magnet. Delaney at left back's the same price. He's the best attacking threat of the defenders. You've got Jerry Taggart, who's playing, who's 4.0. And Gary Rowett's interesting as well at 4.5. So the majority of that Leicester team is really actually interesting this week. And they're not that bad. Like I said, just won at Aston Villa. So they're not awful. They're not comparable to the current Leicester City that you would know now. But they're capable. They've recently beat Chelsea as well. So they're all right.
Got an interesting challenge this week with Scout. So 35 million, 5 players, 1 goalkeeper, 1 defender, 2 midfielders, 1 forward. All I can tell you is there'll definitely be 1 Leicester player and 1 Leeds player in my lineup, James. But I don't know where to. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to go with the rest.
What's the restrictions?
35 million.
Yeah.
1 player per club.
Yeah.
1 goalkeeper, 1 defender, 2 midfielders, 1 attacker.
And you can only have 1 per club.
Correct. I'm not sure if I've got to pick a captain as well. I don't think I have to pick a captain. Nah, I don't have to pick a captain.
I would go top choice for me. I would say would probably be, you definitely want 1 Leicester, so go with the best one. I'd go with Scowcroft. Then Leeds. Do you know what? It's a little bit tempting to have one of the defensive ones because I really think they'll get a clean sheet.
Yeah.
And actually,
Arsenal, Charlton away,
defensively.
possibly. Arsenal, Charlton away.
Yeah, you could pump the money into Henry. Obviously, they've just bought Albertini, who's he's likely to be central midfield. Yeah, 6.5 million. You could look at Bolton again, likes of Henrik Pedersen. No, final 3 decent home games. Yeah, Sunderland at home to Ipswich.
Aston Villa at home.
Yeah, I think Boa Morte would be great shout. I think Boa Morte and Scowcroft as your midfield too. Would like that. You need to just cut the money off somewhere else, but it's not too bad. You could go, I don't know, assuming Hart's not going to play, you could even, if you want to go brave, go like Matteo or Rio Ferdinand. You could do that. If Hart doesn't play, it'll almost definitely be Dominic Matteo at left back.
Yep.
So you could do that. Obviously, you can go Viduka up front. Viduka's going to be really captained. So I think, Scowcroft, Boa Morte as your midfield I would like. And then decide if you want Viduka or one of the defensive ones. And then probably attack the fixtures. So something Bolton, something Sunderland.
Yeah.
So you could go
West Ham have got Blackburn at home. I don't know about Freddie Canute maybe up front.
Don't go near him, man.
Nah,
West Ham have got Leicester.
I try my hardest not to. Oh, sorry.
West Ham have got Leicester away.
And what do you think about Manchester United at Spurs? I mean, Spurs have been on a great run.
5 wins in a row, mate. Yeah, see what happens without football. At the moment, I don't know what I'm doing Leicester transfer-wise. I'm definitely getting 1. I might get 2 from -4. I just need to weigh it up. I'm likely to go Selakovic to Scowcroft, and I just need to weigh up if I want probably either McAnuff or Elliott is the way I'm thinking. If either of those 2 transfers are worth a -4, that's what I'm trying to weigh up. I think I'm going to captain Van Nistelrooy, though, and I don't think many will. And I've spoken a lot on the streams about there's weeks to gamble and weeks not to gamble. I actually think this would be an unusual scenario where captaining Van Nistelrooy is actually going to offer up a little bit of a differential. Spurs have only kept 1 clean sheet so far, which was against 10-man Blackburn, who were the most defensive away side in the simulation in the last game. They've conceded in all the other games. Obviously got injuries defensively as well, to the likes of Dean Richards. So I think Van Nistelrooy can return against Spurs. And at the moment, there are lots of other good differential choices, like, for example, Henrik Pedersen, Scowcroft. You might say if you own Henry at Charlton, I think that's fine. Shearer at Blackburn's differential. Van Nistelrooy himself, a lot of people are going to miss because it swung so much where I think people like myself and Luke from Scout and the guys on their stream have been really pushing the information to say, attack the fixtures. And it's swung away now from people thinking about form, which is kind of the FPL go-to. Oh, he scored twice, I have to get him in. And we've been screaming at people, so don't do that shit. He's got Man United away next week. Forget about it. He's not rising in price or nothing. And it swung so much now that I think people are actually stuck in the mindset of they've got to captain a home player. Viduka's just scored a hat-trick away to Fulham. So we know that these things can happen. And actually, I think whether it's like a Scowcroft, a Pedersen, like I mentioned, or some others, there are some good differentials. I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to hit the right one. He's also Van Nistelrooy. He's banging in the bonus. Like the last 2 games, he's blanked and he's picking up 4-pointers.
I think with Van Nistelrooy, United have just won 3-0 and he didn't get any attacking returns. So the likelihood is that I feel like the simulation will then want to involve him in the attacking returns if he's their best attacker. I don't know if that's completely a stupid way of looking at the simulation, but I feel like he can return at any point because he's the best player in the game.
I don't know about out of form, and you wouldn't say he's out of form because his average rating is still good, his morale is still very high, his fitness is fine. But obviously, I think when someone like him is on a really hot streak, it's likely to continue, actually. It's not likely to stop. So you wouldn't particularly say he's out of form, all right? So, they lost to Liverpool and he didn't score, and he didn't score in a win over Charlton, but he was involved plenty enough. We know that from his rating in the game and that. I think I might do it because afterwards as well, they've got Villa away, which is a slightly easier fixture than Tottenham away, I'd say. But then they've got home games coming up in 3 of the next 4, Southampton, Bolton and Everton, and everyone's going to be captaining him in those 3.
Yeah.
So actually, why don't we try and take some advantage in him somewhere? So I'm actually going to captain him at Tottenham. I think that's the way I'm going to go.
My only alternative is Harry Kewell at Everton, so I think I'm probably with you in terms of Van
Kewell's decent as well. I have to say, my intention was to captain Ian Hart. I noticed Luke had done some sims and he was like, Leeds really commonly keep a clean sheet in this fixture. And he's due an attacking return as well. So, and again, because of his ownership, that would have been a real spike because he's so highly owned. He won't be now, I don't think. A lot of people will cut off. So, yeah, I think Van Nistelrooy for me. Kewell's okay. A lot of people are going to go Viduka, I think. But then the issue with that is afterwards, it's Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, Leicester away. It's not the best run. So it's not the time to attack them for me. No,
definitely not. There we go. Where can people find the stream on Wednesday, James? What time are you going to start?
7 till 10 o'clock. You can find it on our YouTube channel, which is easy enough to find. Planet FPL. You can. I'll use the hashtag ChampManFPL, and you'll find it for certain.
Yeah, very, very good. There we go. That's another pod in the can, James.
Nice. How long have we been going for? About an hour?
Just over an hour, something like that. Give or take a couple of minutes here or there. So once again, guys, let me just remind you that we've got this 24-hour Planet FPL live stream happening on the 23rd of May. Going to start at 6 in the morning and finish at 6 in the morning the next day. Going to be bedlam. So if you do need to get permission from the missus to be awake for 24 hours and spend it with us, not her or him, if it's a she who's getting permission from a man, please do join us.
State you just made of that.
I'm just trying to be covering everybody, James, covering everybody, because we have plenty of female listeners.
Yeah, just so you know, between now and the 23rd of May, there'll be 15 more podcasts and I think it's 12 more live streams as well. There you go.
Oh, that'll keep
right?
people busy.
12.
Yeah, indeed it will. Thank you for joining us again throughout this lockdown. We do appreciate all the feedback and support and everybody tuning in whilst there's no football. So, just to let you know, we appreciate it all. Leaves me just to say enjoy the rest of your week. Ciao for now.
Be nice to each other, everyone. Cue music, man, sharp.